Of all the divine virtues such as love, truthfulness, and justice that each human being is purposed to reflect in their behavior, the attribute of forgiveness seems to be the hardest to manifest. The ability to pardon the shortcomings of another person requires a great measure of spiritual maturity and a dominant influence over one's ego. In reality, the quality of forgiveness is a fundamental tool in self-healing and an important step towards physical, mental, and spiritual freedom. Definitions of forgiveness. Forgiveness, the action or process of forgiving or being forgiven. The term forgive derives from give or to grant, as in to give up or cease to harbor resentment, wrath. To forgive, to cease to feel resentment against an offender, to pardon, forgive one's enemies. To stop blaming or being angry with someone for something they have done, or not punish them for something.
The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is an attribute of the strong. If we practice an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, soon the whole world will be blind and toothless. Mahatma Gandhi. Multi-faith quotes on forgiveness. Let a man conquer anger by love. Let him subdue evil by good. Let him overcome the greedy by liberality and the liar by truth. Buddhism. If you want to see the brave, look at those who can forgive. If you want to see the heroic, look at those who can love in return for hatred. Hinduism. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Christianity. Where there is forgiveness, there is God Himself. Sikhism. You must forgive those who transgress against you before you can look to forgiveness from above. Judaism.
The best deed of a great man is to forgive and forget. Islam. Do good to him who has done you an injury. Taoism. In every instance, let the friends be considerate and infinitely kind. Let them never be defeated by the malice of the people, by their aggression and their hate, no matter how intense. If others hurl their darts against you, offer them milk and honey in return. If they poison your lives, sweeten their souls. If they injure you, teach them how to be comforted. If they inflict a wound upon you, be a balm to their sores. If they sting you, hold to their lips a refreshing cup. Baha'i Faith. Reasons to forgive. Forgiveness is a gift to yourself. Forgiveness allows the soul to receive the gift of peace and composure and frees the heart from resentment and anger. Forgive to be forgiven. Just as we hope for God's compassion and His sin-concealing mercy, we in turn need to demonstrate the same quality of compassion to others. How can we hope to receive divine forgiveness for our shortcomings when we fail to overlook the shortcomings of others? It is an opportunity to exemplify the golden rule. Wish not for others that you wish not for yourselves. Forgiveness moves a person from being a victim to being empowered. Forgiveness leads to freedom of the heart. It purifies the heart from the darkness and the heaviness of anger and resentment, and allows the soul to be empowered through love. Forgiveness lifts the heavy burden of resentment weighing on the heart. Holding on to resentment by reflecting on the errors of someone else is like carrying a heavy load and consumes a great deal of time and energy, which could be used to improve one's own life instead. In fact, the person you hold resentment for may be unaware of your bitterness and, contrary to you, may be enjoying life. Forgiveness releases judgment. Since divine judgment is not in our hands, but in the hands of God, by relinquishing the act of judgment to a higher judge, we release the heavy responsibility of judgment into the hands of God, the very same hands in which our own judgment lies. Forgiveness enables one to understand the state of the offender. It allows one to see with the eyes of compassion and to look deeper into the wounded heart of the offender. It enables the offended person to walk in his or her emotional shoes and to understand what the cause of the behavior was. Forgiveness teaches one to be divine. It nurtures the godlike virtue of compassion and mercy. We are given the wonderful opportunity to be like Him. Forgiveness is good for one's health. Bitterness, anger, hatred all tax the body and mind, whereas forgiveness and compassion lighten the soul and nurture physical health.
What forgiveness does not mean. Forgiveness is not a forced behavior. Forgiveness is a personal decision that cannot be forced. The offended person needs to be ready to forgive without any pressure. Forgiveness does not mean weakness. Forgiveness, on the contrary, is a spiritual strength which manifests the quality of mercy over justice. The act of forgiveness requires spiritual strength over the forces of one's ego. Forgiveness does not condone wrongdoing. Forgiveness releases the act of wrongdoing to the divine, in the knowledge that in the end we are only responsible for our own development and reactions and not the actions of others. We have control only of our own choices, and it is through our own actions that we can be an example and guide to others. Let your deeds be a guide unto all mankind. Forgiveness does not forget the wrongdoing. Forgiveness allows you to forgive the person, but not forget the bad behavior. One can be forgiving while still remembering the mistake and remaining mindful of another person's future intentions. Forgiveness does not mean being naive and lacking caution, but allows in certain cases an opportunity for another chance. Forgiveness does not always mean resuming the same level of contact and closeness with the offender. In certain cases, one can resume an even closer level of friendship with proper boundaries, while in some extreme abuse cases, one can forgive and still maintain a healthy distance. How to forgive others. Love the creatures for the sake of God and not for themselves. You will never become angry or impatient if you love them for the sake of God. Humanity is not perfect. There are imperfections in every human being, and you will always become unhappy if you look toward the people themselves. But if you look toward God, you will love them and be kind to them, for the world of God is the world of perfection and complete mercy. Therefore, do not look at the shortcomings of anybody. See with the sight of forgiveness. The imperfect eye beholds imperfections. The eye that covers faults looks toward the Creator of souls. He created them, trains them, and provides for them, endows them with capacity and life, sight and hearing. Therefore, they are the signs of His grandeur. You must love and be kind to everybody, care for the poor, protect the weak, heal the sick, teach and educate the ignorant.